hidden contract, a late afternoon meeting, and a betrayal years in the making. But when she arrived unexpectedly, the truth hit him so hard it left the entire office whispering.
A soft golden light drifted through the office windows, warming the rows of product samples and half-finished prototypes that defined the heart of the small cosmetics company. The hum of printers, muted conversations, and the faint scent of botanical oils created an atmosphere that was both busy and intimate. Exactly the kind of place where dreams were built with steady hands. Amara moved through the workspace with quiet confidence, her presence grounding the room. As the co-founder, she carried the company's mission, eco-friendly beauty made for every shade and every story, like a pulse beneath her skin. Her mind was sharp, her vision steady, and her commitment unshakable. She had poured years of late nights and hopeful mornings into this brand, shaping it into something people believed in. Elliot, her business partner, still wore his easy smile, the one clients found charming. But lately, that smile didn't reach his eyes. He had been drifting, showing up late, avoiding certain discussions, ending phone calls the moment she approached. Sometimes she caught him shuffling papers too quickly, sliding folders into drawers as if they were secrets that needed hiding. Amara tried to brush off the unease curling in her stomach, but the clues, small, fleeting, almost invisible, kept stacking up. Something was shifting, and whatever it was, it felt dangerously close. The following week, the warmth of the office felt thinner, stretched over something colder, something Amara couldn't quite name. She sat at her desk, reviewing the monthly financial reports, when the first thread of suspicion tugged at her numbers didn't line up. Expenses appeared under departments that didn't exist. Several large orders were marked with her digital signature, yet she had no memory of approving them. A quiet pressure began to form behind her ribs. Later that afternoon, as she walked past the conference room, a sharp voice cut through the partially closed door. Elliot. "I said we need to get this deal done before she finds out," he hissed, each word edged with urgency. The silence that followed hit her harder than the words themselves. He wasn't talking to a client. His tone was too desperate, too reckless. She stepped away before she could hear more, her pulse unsteady. The next day, a longtime supplier pulled her aside, lowering his voice. "Strange request from Elliot," he murmured. "Asked for a private meeting, just him, no co-founder." His eyes held a warning he didn't dare speak fully. Amara felt the pieces shifting, forming a shadow she could no longer ignore. But instead of confronting Elliot, she chose stillness. Observation, quietly gathering records, messages, contracts, letting the truth reveal itself, one careful clue at a time. Late one afternoon, the sun dipped low, casting long amber shadows across the office floor. Amara arrived early for a scheduled investor meeting, hoping the quiet would help her steady the unease that had been growing inside her. As she approached the conference room, she heard the soft shuffle of papers, Elliot's voice low, steady, rehearsed. She pushed the door open. Elliot froze. In front of him lay a contract spread across the table, her name typed in bold, her ownership split neatly outlined. With a sickening jolt, she realized what she was looking at. A finalized agreement to sell her half of the company to a massive competitor signed. Stamped. Executed as if she didn't exist. Her breath caught in her chest. After years of shared sacrifice, late-night planning sessions, failed prototypes, victories that brought them to tears, this was how he repaid her. Elliot exhaled sharply, then leaned back with a smirk that didn't belong to the man she once trusted. "Amara, someone had to be realistic," he said, crossing his arms. "You're too soft to lead something this big. The company needs someone who can push it forward, without hesitation." The words sliced deeper than the betrayal itself. He spoke with the confidence of a man convinced he had already won, convinced she was standing there powerless, cornered, outplayed. He truly believed he had outsmarted her.
Amara didn't flinch. The hurt still throbbed beneath her ribs, but it no longer controlled her. Instead, a clear, steady calm settled over her, one Elliot had never seen before. She stepped forward, gently sliding the contract aside as if it were nothing more than a misplaced memo. "I already know, Elliot," she said softly. "I've known for days." Confusion flickered across his face, cracking through his confidence. Amara reached into her bag and pulled out a sleek folder. Inside were neatly printed documents, signatures crisp, dates precise. "While you were busy arranging my exit," she continued, "I was speaking with people who actually believe in what this company stands for. Silent investors, individuals who had watched her leadership, admired her commitment, and trusted her vision far more than Elliot ever had." She placed the paperwork in front of him. "I didn't secure funding to protect my share. I secured it to buy out yours." Elliot's eyes widened as he scanned the documents. A clause, buried in their partnership agreement, glared back at him, a clause he had violated the moment he attempted to sell her stake without consent. The consequence was immediate and automatic. She now held the legal right to purchase his ownership at a drastically reduced valuation. His breath hitched, the color drained from his face. In a single moment, the trap he had set for her had snapped shut. Around him. His betrayal hadn't just failed, it had handed her the power to remove him entirely. The sun dipped lower, casting streaks of orange and rose across the office windows, as Elliot sat rigidly at the conference table. His hands trembled slightly, though he tried to hide it. In front of him lay the buyout documents, his exit, written in legal ink he could no longer escape. Amara stood across from him, steady as stone, her expression composed but resolute. "Sign," she said quietly. "Not cold, not cruel, simply final." Elliot hesitated, jawed tight with disbelief and bitter pride. But the clause was ironclad and Amara's preparation flawless. With a defeated exhale, he picked up the pen. The scratch of his signature against the paper felt like the last breath of a partnership already long dead. When it was done, Amara gathered the documents, closed the folder, and nodded toward the door. "Let me walk you out." The hallway felt longer than usual as they moved through it. Employees looked up from their desks, sensing a shift in the air. One by one, they paused, silent witnesses to the moment their leader reclaimed what was rightfully hers. Their eyes followed Amara, not with fear or uncertainty, but with renewed trust. At the front entrance, she opened the door for Elliot. He stepped out without a word. As it closed behind him, the entire building seemed to exhale. The tension that had clung to the walls dissolved, replaced by a quiet, rising hope. Amara stood taller, the weight lifted. The company, reborn in her hands, felt alive again. In the weeks that followed, the office transformed, subtly at first, then unmistakably. Amara moved through each room with renewed purpose, gathering her team not just to repair what had been damaged, but to rebuild something truer, stronger, and unmistakably theirs. She rebranded the company with a new message woven into every product and campaign: authenticity, community, and beauty without compromise. Under her leadership, the brand's voice became clearer, bolder. Amara partnered with local artisans, women-led farms, and small environmental groups, aligning the company with the values she had always believed mattered most. Customers felt the shift, drawn to the sincerity that radiated from every product release. Within months, sales climbed steadily. Collaborations rolled in, not because of flashy promises, but because people trusted her. Industry leaders began inviting her to panels and conferences, praising not only her business acumen, but the integrity that guided her. Her story became quiet inspiration, proof that strength didn't always need to shout. Meanwhile, Elliot's presence faded into the background. His name stopped appearing in industry news. His new ventures failed to take root, weighed down by the same greed that had driven his downfall. He became a cautionary tale whispered among entrepreneurs. Ambition without integrity would always collapse. Amara, however, rose. Steady, intentional, unstoppable. Her company thrived, blooming from the ashes of betrayal into something undeniably powerful. In the quiet that settled after the storm, Amara often found herself pausing in the doorway of her office, watching her team laugh, collaborate, and dream freely again. The company hummed with an energy that felt vibrant and honest, an energy born not from profit margins or competition, but from purpose. And in those moments, she understood the lesson her journey had carved into her heart. Integrity outlasts betrayal. The truth had become her anchor, guiding her through deception without losing herself. Elliot's downfall wasn't the result of her retaliation, but the natural consequence of his own choices. He had gambled with greed. She had led with clarity. And in the end, only one of them stood rooted in something real. Amara learned that trust was powerful, but blind trust could be dangerous. Protecting her vision didn't make her guarded, it made her wise. It taught her that strength wasn't always loud or forceful. Sometimes strength was quiet preparation, patient observation, and unwavering belief in one's purpose. People had underestimated her before, dismissed her as too gentle, too idealistic, too soft. But they never saw the steel beneath her calm, the discipline behind her kindness. A determined woman, grounded in her worth, was a force no betrayal could break. And Amara carried that truth with her, knowing it would light her path for the rest of her life.